Yo, what's good? Welcome back to another episode of the Tejas Tapes. I'm joined by Priya, one of my closest friends since sixth grade, and the Benitha from A Raisin in the Sun, of course. How are you, Priya?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. And so, of course, this is quarantine. Everyone's staying at home. And as I can tell, your family's pretty big. So how are you dealing with your family right now at the moment?
Well, everyone definitely got a lot closer because there's 10 of us and a dog. But my cousin was going to go to college, but he obviously can't go right now. So we spent more time with him because we're probably not going to see him for a while. And we all got very close because there's 3 boys and me. So we were playing like video games and stuff. And we haven't been this close since we were 3 years old because we were always at school or doing schoolwork. So yeah.
Do you do anything like outside, other than just bonding with family? Do you do all other things as well, like maybe study or something like that? Or
Maybe study. Yeah, I do
maybe
study.
study.
Yeah. Actually, so I have to study for the bio SAT, and it consistently got moved up because the dates of quarantine couldn't fit it in right now.
Yeah.
But to make it more in my head, keep it in my head, I actually put a picture of me with an 800 in my hand on my door, so that it's the first thing I see when I wake up, and it's the last thing I see before I sleep, so that I have it in my head, so I know okay, this is what I want this, keep it in my head. It's sort of like a motivation thing.
I actually want to do the bio SAT as well, because why not take a shot? But a lot of people, AP week has been insane. Some people just can't hand in their work. Other people are denied of their work. Only like a few of them and they College Board also got hit up with like a $500 million lawsuit or something like that. Quite extravagant.
Oh.
It's weird. I don't know what. But what I also know about you from past experiences, you like business, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, have you done any business meetings or anything along the lines of like a workshop?
Yeah, so my dad took me to, so far, I think 3 conferences, and one of them is Joe Polish's Genius Network. So that's basically where a bunch of successful entrepreneurs come together and they talk about what made them successful and they network with other people. And I was the only kid there, but it was interesting. And then I went to Brendan Bouchard's High Performance Network, which is more about your mindset than business, but it helps you get into the high performer mindset rather than a higher achiever. And yeah, it taught us a lot. And we were the only kids, me and my brother went, and we were the only kids under 23 there. Everyone else was older and they're
Kids
all
at
done with
23.
college. Yeah. So they taught us achievement is not necessarily the problem. It's more of alignment and knowing what you want and going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, I've also gone to a few of these workshops. With another FBLA member called Parag Mohanty. I already did a podcast on him. You know the vibes. But we also learned a lot of different things in these workshops, and the point of most of these workshops, I feel like, was a lot about growth mindset rather than just how to make the money and how to make the business. So what would you say is one takeaway you can have from these workshops?
Well, I have a lot, but one of the main things is that you have to listen to the call of change, which is when you listen to or you see something and you take meaning from that to create your own thing. And the way you know that you listen to this call is at the end of your life, you should be able to ask yourself whatever questions you want. But for me, it'd be, did I live, did I love, and did I matter? And if I can answer that and I like my answer, then I know that I listened to the call of change. But if not, I have to fix what I'm doing now so that I can actually answer those to the best of my ability when I'm on my deathbed. Sounds gory.
Well, that's good. But how would you find that call, to be exact? How would you find it?
Well, so a high performer naturally would know how to pick that call out, and they need 3 things. They need vibrancy, connection, and meaning. And so, vibrancy in the sense that you feel incredible, you don't just go through the motions. Connection, empathy, love towards yourself, service to your loved ones and to the universe, and meaning a sense that our lives matter and what we're doing matters. So you have to be able to identify what is important in your life, and if something's not important, then try to get it out.
So if I had to sum it up in one sentence, it would be something you're passionate about, right? If I'm getting that correct.
Something that gets you up in the morning, something that gets you excited. Yeah.
So along those lines, what would you say you're most passionate about? Or like, what do you want to be when you grow up, actually? Let me take that one.
Neurosurgeon.
So, do you feel like these workshops are actually helping you to be a neurosurgeon? Or are they teaching you life lessons rather?
Well, I think these workshops, like, it doesn't matter what you want to be in life. You're still going to need them because it's a mindset. You need your brain in whatever you do, whatever aspect that you choose to go in. And it's especially interesting to me because I want to be a neurosurgeon. I want to study the brain, why people do what they do. So yeah, it definitely changed my mindset into becoming, rather than a high achiever, someone who just wants to get that medal rather than a high performer.
I
Yeah.
mean, I always loved trying to get the high performance, like those medals and stuff like that, but sometimes it was impossible to get it, or it's just the fact that I never was properly prepared for it. So, what would you say to a person who isn't prepared and they fail to get like that number one spot, but they still want to achieve something? What
Well,
would you tell them?
first, don't have self-doubt because that's the largest dream killer. If you're ever thinking something and like you don't get it the first time, you have to think, is this thought of self-doubt? Well, firstly, is this situation in my control? If not, then there's obviously nothing you can do about it. But also, if you're doubting yourself or if you're not sure what to do, just think like, is what I'm thinking right now, is my thought, is that going to carry me to the desired life I want in like 10 years or 15 years? And honestly, whatever you want in life, your goal, even if you want to be a gas station person, if you're a gas station person, that's great, you got your goal. But if you want to be like an entrepreneur, you have to work towards your goal. And like if you see like the landmarks or something, that's how you know you're successful. It's progressive realization towards a worthy ideal.
Those are some big vocabulary words.
That's actually
Yeah.
from Earl Nightingale's Strangest Secret book.
Well, what are three books you would recommend to anyone they should read right now? I know I put you on the spot. Or at least one, at least one.
One,
One,
Strangest
yeah.
Secret.
Uh, is it good?
Yeah, it's actually on YouTube. It's a 30-minute video, and we listen to it every single week. My dad told us to listen to it, and it's about mindset too, and why like 10 people would want success, but at the end of their lives, 9 would have just been average, and 1 would have actually got it, and what makes that one person get it. That's what the book's about.
I like your dad. He's very smart. Recommending such things.
He is, yeah.
I like that. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people should actually get onto that things like that. Like a few podcasts that I listen to, like the Joe Rogan podcast or What's Good or Jack May Happy Hour, some stuff like that. Even though some of them are kind of stupid or something, they aren't along the lines of something serious. They do point out a few facts in life. Like they bring out certain guests like KSI. He's
Mm-hmm.
actually one of my role models. It's quite weird. I don't know why. But KSI, like, if you look at him, he's the person you want to be. Like, not exactly what he does, but like, he has adapted to change. He has been a FIFA YouTuber, like a nerd. Wow, that I just made nerd sound like a really bad connotation. But he's changed a lot. He's played soccer and now become a world famous boxer as in only one fight. And if you really think about it, it's quite insane to achieve something like that. So how would you categorize, like, how would you try to say to become that type of person who adapts to change very quickly and tries to make the most out of a situation?
Okay, so obviously no one wants to be regular, so you want to be at that level of success. And KSI might have gotten lucky, and we have to learn to not depend on luck. We can appreciate it, but we can't depend on it. So in order for something to change your life and in order to get to that level, there's only 2 things that can really make an impact. It's something new that comes into your life and something that comes from within. And typically we'd want the second option. And we just want to think, like, what people do we need to be around to get this out of us, or what steps do we need to take in order to get to our level. And there's actually a thing where I learned at the High Performance Academy thing, where you have to, at the beginning of every month, you have to have a calendar and write progressively, what are you going to do to get to your goal? And if there's any like meetings or anything that like you don't have to be there, or it's not going to help you, cancel it out. You don't have to waste your time doing it. If you successfully work for 6 hours a day, you'll be at your goal in no time.
I'm probably gonna take note of that.
Yeah.
That's why I got my pencil, handy dandy. You know what I'm saying? But I kind of disagree on the fact that you said if it comes into your life, that's based on luck. I mean, some things have to be based on luck. Like if you look at KSI's trainer, for example, he was an amateur fighter, but no one really knew about him until KSI really recruited him to train him. So like, I do feel like luck is a big and important factor into like the person you are. I just wouldn't say it's like something you should discredit, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you don't discredit it. You just shouldn't depend on it.
Oh, I'm. I mean, yeah, I understand you shouldn't depend on it, but like, I feel like if you have the option of having luck, might as well just take it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Luck is probably one of our.
Life gives you lemons.
Why not just take them? But of course, we've stayed at home, social distancing, but we do need our fitness. So,
Yes.
how do you spend your time to keep yourself in
So,
shape?
well, firstly, I have to get off technology because that's the biggest, like, it's the worst drug, technology, your phones. And I'm trying to get over app amnesia. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's when you're on your phone and somehow, like, you just look at the clock and hours have passed by and you're like, how did that happen? I was just on my phone like 2 hours ago. So, firstly, like, what I do to get over that is just like rearrange my apps like once a month, so it confuses my brain. Because like I'm so used to like clicking my text message button or clicking like my Netflix button. So like when I rearrange it, I'm like my finger automatically goes to what it still was. So that just shows my brain like, okay, you're really going this far.
See, what I want to say about that is like, that is so true. Like how technology is like literally a drug. Like I think at this point of time, I'm so sick of using my phone. Sometimes I just like delete social media apps, take my
Yeah,
phone, turn it off, and throw it off somewhere. Just be by myself and do something.
throw it. Nice.
I know. I just take it and throw it on my bed, and then I just draw something just to like calm my mind out, or something that isn't related to texting another person or just being online. Because I feel like being online is just a waste of time at this point. There's really nothing we can do. And I understand, like, I'm making a podcast. Great, Tejas, like, you're counteracting what he just said. But I feel like now is a time that content creation is pretty important.
Yeah.
Like, I was listening to this college webinar, and they were talking about how now, like, colleges really want to see what you've done in this time. And if you've pulled something great out, like if you've made YouTube videos, if you made TikTok dances, whatever you do at this time will help you later on, because once they see that you haven't wasted it, you are part of the way there now compared to those who haven't done anything.
Yeah, I like what you just said about wasting it, because the average person actually wastes 90 minutes a day, and that's in total 66 8-hour workdays in a year. So that's like how much of time you wasted. And the way you know a person is someone you want to keep in your crowd, or the way you know someone has gratitude for life, is if how they manage their time. Do they waste it or not? Because if they're wasting it, then they don't really care. They don't want to make an impact on others. But if they're not wasting it, then you should probably learn from them.
See, this is why I made my podcast, only because like people like you or the other guests that I'm gonna bring on, it's always the fact that I want to learn something new. Like you do business. I'm gonna bring on another person who talks about medical. I just want to pick something up, and like maybe if that sparks something in me, I probably will pursue something along those lines. Like it's this podcast is the only reason I make it is because it's a great way for me to explore different options out
Yeah.
there. And maybe whoever listens to it, I know I only got 64 views, but gas.
It's a
But
start. It's a
it's a
start.
start. Yeah, but like if anyone who listens to it and they just feel like they have no sense in what they're doing, maybe like I'm on that path too. Like kill two birds with one stone. Why don't we do it together, and then we might figure something out. So yeah.
So what do you do like to like make your brain more focused on what you want to do? Or like if you try to do too much, like have you ever like crashed and burned? Like what do you do to fix that?
So when I like, yeah, that happens a lot. So when I just have like when I burn out, I just take a moment, turn off everything, listen to a little bit of music. I think music is one of the most influential parts of my life at this point.
Definitely.
And I just listen to music and then take a piece of paper, draw whatever. It doesn't matter if it's a bunch of lines or if it's a portrait. I don't care. Like, it just helps me rearrange my thoughts, because that image, like the cliche saying, oh, picture means 1,000 words. it's basically what it is for me. Like I just take that image, put it, and then later on, just take that image, put it somewhere else, and then if I feel that feeling again, just pull out that piece of paper and then let my mind sit into that paper again, and then
Yeah.
I'll just go back to doing whatever I do.
Something
What
I
would you
do
do?
is reset. Oh my god, my
Reset.
voice. Sorry.
Ooh.
something something I do is resetting. So like a power plant, just like like it doesn't create energy; it generates it. A race car, it doesn't. It has pit stops. You have to refuel it, and the refueling is not necessarily you don't need it, but it's a precaution. So like humans also need to do that. So like whenever I'm studying or working, every 15 minutes I try to get up and just do something crazy, like energetic, like push-ups, jumping jacks, do something that'll get your blood pumping because it stops you from like being so invested in one thing and having your brain be tired.
See, that's like one of my problems because when I get invested in something, I make sure I put like all my time into it. And sometimes I forget about how long I'm spending it. And like that's what really makes like your effort from the beginning go really downhill after a while. So like I'm probably gonna try that out too.
Should.
Yeah, but the problem is for me, like whenever I burn out, it takes a long time for me to come back because I just don't know what I'm doing after one point. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So how would you cope with that if you just didn't know what you were doing for a while? It's like you
Well, I
just
definitely try to.
like if your brain just shut down.
Okay, so if my brain just shut down, then obviously I treat my brain right first of all. I like give it foods it needs so it doesn't try to shut down, or like healthy foods or whatever. And
Healthy.
healthy foods, yeah, like spinach and broccoli and the
I
greens.
doubt. I doubt.
Okay, sometimes, once in a while. So also what I do is I have a bunch of things hung up all over my room with my dreams, my goals, whatever I want. So I just like take a minute, just sit and look like what is it that I want. I look at my calendar, what is my short-term goal? What is my long-term goal? Like where do I see myself in a few years? Because the future is very, very scary for me. Like it's so uncertain that it just makes the fear that much greater. So when I try to think of myself in a few years, like what do I see myself doing? How do I get myself to that stage? And yeah, just
I mean,
motivate myself.
see, the future always scares me, which is why I never like unless if it's college or something. Obviously, I think about that, but I don't think about the future that often because the more I think about it, the more lost I get because I don't know what I'm gonna do when I grow up. Like there's coronavirus. Who would have predicted that? It's not something we could have just seen out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And stuff like that is what scares me, and this which is why I don't really think about that much in the future. But I feel like that's a flaw again because you really do need to see what's gonna like what you want to plan out, and taking those small steps to see the bigger picture is probably one of the most important things you have to do.
But it's also like you can't force something. It's like the struggle between force and flow. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Just go with it.
Yeah, you just reminded me of Bruce Lee's uh words, "Be like water."
Be like
The
water.
"Be like water." He says, "If you're like a waterfall, crash," and stuff like that. He's like, be the shape of the teapot or be the shape of the container that it's poured in. And I feel like whoever masters that ability to change to any top thing, I feel like they will prevail out of everything.
Yes,
Big
definitely.
vocabulary, gas. Yeah, but it's. I just don't know how to see like. I just don't know what I think about my future anymore. It's hard. And the fact that we're also in high school, also we have to also think about what we like and what colleges we want to go for, if depending on our field. I feel like that's obviously another hard task.
For,
So
yeah.
yeah, what were you saying?
When I think about colleges, it's they always want something different, right? You don't
Yeah,
want to be like every other person, straight A's, perfect score. That's all you do. Like you play a sport, yeah, good, but what else do you do? So when I think about colleges, it's just for like being a brown person. My parents like put me into brown dancing, or it's called Kathak. It's a traditional dance,
yeah.
and I've been doing that since as long as I can remember. And it's hard, but like it puts me in touch with my cultural roots, and that's actually something that colleges like when you're true to your roots, like when you're not trying to be every other person. So that's definitely something that I have to think about.
And I also just remembered you said you talked about dance right now. And oh, how long have you been doing dance again?
Since kindergarten, so that would be nine
Do the
years.
maths. Nine
9
nine
years.
years. Yeah. So how would you say dance has defined you as a human?
Okay, so Kathak is a very particular dance. So you have to have a lot of discipline. Your arms have to be like straight. You can't move too much. And the feet are very fast. You turn very fast. So it teaches you a lot of discipline. And you have to respect your guru, which is your teacher. So you have to respect her. You have to respect your classmates. And you have to be very precise in your movements. So it's teach it, oh, it taught me discipline, and it taught me how to be a person who can be very forward with what I want and be very precise in what I do in life.
Does Kathak make you like feel, how do I describe it? It's very confusing to describe. Does it make you, when it teaches you discipline, does it teach you only to do certain actions, or does it teach you to also think out of your mind when you have messed up as well? Or do you have to stay strict with the routine?
So there's different kinds of dances in it. So some of them you have to do what the teacher tells you. You can't do anything. But other things it's like improv. So you get to make your own face motion, face expression, face gestures.
Facial
Yeah,
expressions.
facial gestures or expressions, and you get to basically take control of the role that you're portraying, which is a god or a goddess because it's tied to religion. So in that you get to do what you want, and you have the ability to make it something that you're proud of, something that you believe is represented in your dance.
So for those type of dance, would you just say it's more of being able to express yourself through another character, or is it just an emotion that you're portraying through a character?
It's definitely emotion.
Oh,
You're portraying
mhm.
your emotion as well as the character's emotion together.
I want to learn dance. I did it back in, I think I did dance when I was like 5 or something, but I gave up on it. I don't know why.
If
But
you listen
like,
to music, you can dance. There's no way you don't dance when you listen to music, however little the movement is.
I just follow the weekend's movements on most of his videos. No, I'm
Just the
playing.
weekend.
Yeah, but like, whenever, for me, I feel like right now is a great time, like because of quarantine, is a great time for me to dip my feet into like all these different things and just explore for like just to see what I want to do. Because
Mhm.
I mean, like I understand like when you do something, you have to put your heart and soul into it, but at the same time, like what would you tell a person if they were trying to find something that they like and they don't know what it is?
That's me. I actually played 6 sports growing up.
Same.
And
I can relate.
my parents would put me in every single class they could find: ballet, dance, tap, hip hop, basketball, soccer, swimming, tennis, everything.
I've done
And
all of those on there.
yeah, but like in in my family, we already knew, like we always had a thing where you're not going to be a dancer in our family, like because we're a very like traditional family. You're going to be a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer.
Yeah.
And our parents, they're very close-minded in a way when it comes to your career, but like they're open-minded in other areas. So we kind of knew that aspect of our life, but if we ever wanted to try something else, they'd be fine with it. But we always had the course of our parents, because kids become what their parents like raise them as. So our parents raised us to be in the medical field. 90% of my family is in the medical field. So we always had that mindset. So I feel like just trying to like experiment is fine, but just always having an idea, like a backup plan in the back of your head. Okay, I'll try this, but if it doesn't work, at least I have something else I can depend on to do.
Yeah, and what my parents always taught me when I grew up, like when I ever talked about sports or something that was related in the media industry, they always taught me that there was a very rare chance to do it and like make it
Yeah.
on there, big stage, obviously. So if you're gonna try to make it on there, you have to do it. You have to put more than a 200% into what you're doing. That's like
Mhm.
you have to devote yourself. Like you have to give your whole body, mind, heart, everything, and like without putting that much effort or energy, you can't make it. That doesn't even have to be for media. That could be for anything, realistically. Like if you don't love what you do, there's no point to what you do. And that like ties back to what you said before.
Um, For us, though, our parents always, like, they're fine if we go into the media, but as long as we have our medical degree first. We have to have something to rely on. So we have to get our diploma. We have to get everything we need. And education would always come first. So even if we wanted to play sports, our parents would be like, they'd sit us down. They'd be like, okay, if your sports are making your grade go from an A+ to an A, yes, it might not seem that much of a difference to you, but it is. So we'd have to, like, cut out everything, like, one by one. When I was younger, I went from 6 sports to 4 sports to 2 sports to 1 sport. So, like, you have to cut out things eventually when you find you don't like it, even if you don't want to cut it off because you want the options. You just have to know when is it time to reel back into reality.
See, I always, what you said about the backup plan, there should be a backup plan. I I 100% agree with that, and that's what my parents have told me, obviously, too, because that's the thing now. But what I've always heard from, like, those above, like those who have actually, like, made it to, like, this, not to stardom, but to success, they always said, right, if you always have a backup plan, you're always going to hold back, and which is
Yeah.
why I'm conflicted, because if you have a backup plan, you're not going to put in 110%. You're only going to put 100%. But if you don't have a backup plan, you are now willing to take the risks to possibly do anything at this point. And I feel like I don't know which side to pick from now. I just don't know.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people, like, when you see their success stories, they have hard lives, like, they've struggled, and that's why they got to the top, because they didn't have another option. But yeah, it's definitely something to think about. That's just the way I was raised, with always having a second option, because my parents were poor growing up. They didn't have money. My mom didn't have, like, she had one dress for 365 days passed
Same.
down. So, like, she knew, like, struggle. So she's like, she doesn't want me to feel that way. So she doesn't want me to have the risk of losing something. So she's like, okay, you're going to do this. You're going to be this because it worked for her. So it's probably going to work for me. And that's the problem with the mindsets of immigrant families a lot of the
Yeah.
time.
I
They
mean,
don't want their kids to
yeah.
go through the same thing they went through.
I mean, I understand, like, the concerns of our parents, and I truly respect it. But I also, like, my parents have also put me through, like, they've made me also, like, when I want something, it's I have to, like, fight for it. Not like with my parents, not like, oh, I don't like you, not like that. Like, if I truly want something, like, for example, if I wanted, I think it was my basketball shoes way back in 7th grade. I had to, like, not in 8th grade, my bad, yeah. Uh, for my birthday, they literally, like, I had to make sure I made, like, my travel teams, my AAU teams. I had to make sure I was the starter for every. They wanted me to invest all my time into it, so that way the reward that they give me is actually fruitful. It's not like something you just uselessly do. And which is why I feel like some celebrity kids, I'm not just going to say, like, all celebrity kids are like that. I just feel like when you really look at some of those celebrity kids, and they don't have the same name as their parents, I feel like it's because they haven't been taught, like, the same value of things. Like, they take things a lot underestimated. You know what I'm saying? And, like, a
Yeah,
few students, like, even right now in high school, a lot of people take things very um what's the word for it? Like, they don't really, I don't know
they're
the word for it.
spoiled.
Not spoiled, but, like, it's along the lines of spoiled, but, like, you don't really you don't value it. A lot of people don't value a lot of things in their life, and which
Yeah.
is now, like, during quarantine, I think I've realized what I value a lot.
Hmm. How are you coping with, like, not being away, well, being away from the public and, like, friends?
I truly, honestly, I feel way more at peace right now,
Same.
because wait, in school, I think part, like, I do miss talking to my friends, but right now I really do find out, like, who are, like, the true friends that I talk to, and who do I really enjoy talking to the most at this point.
Yeah.
What about you?
I love it. I know it's weird to say, like, I love quarantine, I love lockdown because there's people dying, but
Oh,
I feel
jeez.
like in school you'd always be forced to, like, make conversation with people so you don't look socially awkward. Like, you'd always have to make conversation with people. Like, if you're sitting in the lunch line, you can't just be, like, standing there like a block of, or a brick
Wood.
or something, just a block of wood. Yeah. Just, like,
Yeah.
standing there and just not talking to anyone. You're supposed to, like, talk to someone, socialize, converse. So, like, not having to go to all that extra effort. And I have a very small friend group, so I don't really mind. I still talk to my 2 or 3 friends every single day. So
Same.
I don't really text at all either. I don't like texting. I just, if I see them, I'll see them. If I talk to them, like, I'll talk to them. If not, I'm fine. I have 10 people in my house. I have 10 people I can talk to. So it might not be the same way for everyone who has a small family, which is why it's so hard to be stranded from your family right now.
I feel like quarantine has also taught me like before before like this whole thing happened, it was more like my mindset was more like, yeah, let's have 20 different friends I don't even know about, throw a party and probably just go crazy the whole time. Like now I realize like even before I did understand like a party wasn't going to get you anywhere and like those friends won't help you, like the ones that are just for fun. And now I really truly understand like those who are around me. Now I really need to put myself around those people who are productive or those people who have motivation for me. Like if I see another person like Parav Mohanty, like again, I'm gonna use him like an example. He did the thing on Instagram where it was like it was like a stock market challenge game. Like he's the reason why I've done this podcast again because he's doing something productive. So then why shouldn't I be doing something productive? Like why do I have to be able to sit down and do nothing, but he can move around and do whatever he feels like? And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those people who just sit around, play video games or whatever, they're just kind of wasting their life at this point. I just, it's not, video games really won't help you. Like that's a very brown person thing to say, but it is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um it's kind of sad that our generation has to be motivated by others, but that's like the real thing. You get motivated when you see someone else doing something and you're like, well, they got the attention, they got the fame, why can't I get it too? So then you push yourself to do it yourself. And that's actually like I started a website like last year or something, and I got stories from I think 100 people or more, but I'd interview them and find out what was their biggest struggle in life. And when looking at every single person, like I got one woman who was like running away from the Nazis during the Holocaust, but then there's another person whose greatest struggle was falling off the roof and like going into a coma for a month. Like yes, there's struggles, but there's different levels. And when you see like how people come back from that, and when they look at other people coming back from that, that's how you can truly tell it's a test of a person's character. And that's also a big motivation thing. When you learn other people's stories and their struggles, you're like, okay, well, now I want to do that too. I want to be that person.
See, when I hear like those crazy comeback stories, it's more about, for me, it's more about how do I get the mindset of coming back rather
Yeah.
than sit there and just start crying about it. Because if you really think about it, some people, like 9 out of 10 people do, when they fail, they sit there and they do collapse and just, they
Yeah.
don't really have any way to come back. And I feel like with our generation, it's going to happen a lot more only because we are so dependent on each other and because we
Yeah.
are also rely on technology a lot now. So
Mm-hmm.
without our technology, I feel like a lot of people will just sit there and cry about a lot of things. And a lot of us are going to be more sensitive to things now. So coming back will be much harder than it should have.
Mm-hmm. Social media ruined our mindsets though, because everyone wants to have the most followers, or they don't want people posting negative things about them, and they want the comments, the positive likes, and all that. And I just think it's unnecessary. Like I don't have Snapchat on my phone, I don't have Instagram on my phone, I don't have like social media, because you're always gonna look at it. You want people to like you, like you want people to like you, but like the followers you have on Instagram, I have like two main friends. Am I gonna look at like the 600 people who follow me on Instagram? I have no idea who half of them are. So it's very hard like growing up in our generation. Much rather live in the 90s.
I feel like social media now, for like the reason I use social media right now is only for to explore what other like what celebrities do. I understand they're celebrities and it sounds very stupid sometimes, like Kylie Jenner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you might think that she's born to a rich family or obviously, but the thing she has done to become the youngest billionaire as a woman is quite extraordinary. So
Yeah.
from her, I'll take that motivation from her any day. Or Travis Scott or The Weeknd. It doesn't matter. They all have some story behind them, and which is why they're able to do stuff like that. So the reason why I keep social media is to see that. But I also want to use it to like market myself, obviously, because like now that I'm doing the podcast, obviously, the more traction I can gain, then the more people I can bring on. I don't want to be a one man show because it's one man shows are fun. Like they are truly great. You can say you made yourself, but truly, there's no one really who made you. It's others who help you become the person you are now. So that's what I really feel like social media is helpful for. And what you said is a definite con.
Yeah, even Obama says that. He's like, if you're the head of a business, you didn't make that business. The people around you made it. Like, you can't be successful at anything without someone's help, anyone's help. It could be like a homeless person on the street who motivated you. You want to help him. You want to do something. Yeah, it's
I mean,
definitely a big factor in anyone's success.
success is quite a hard word though. Like when you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, what do you define success as? Is
I
it
go with Earl Nightingale's definition.
what is it?
I said it before, but it's success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal.
Well, I mean, success for me is just I actually
It's
don't know how
different for
to describe
everyone.
it. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like it's the moment you feel happy about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I like when people do say, "Oh, money, I want money" and stuff like that. I did grow up on that bandwagon. I,
I
it
know.
like part like when I was younger, I was quite impressionable, but uh, money does play a factor in how happy you will be, but it won't be the reason why you are happy. I feel
Yeah.
like yeah, like even if you don't have enough money but you still are able to provide for your family, or you're still able to, like, even if you have 10 cents and you just buy a gift for someone out of those 10 cents, which probably wouldn't happen in the 21st century, but that happiness you see from the other person also kind of makes you feel happy about what you did. And I feel like stuff like that is what we are lacking in our generation.
Definitely.
We won't do anything without a camera. Realistically, we want to record something.
Yeah.
Not this podcast. Disclaimer.
Like at an Ariana Grande concert, no one really listens. Everyone's just on their phones, like recording like 2 hours, just waiting and waiting. Like you never see someone just sitting at a concert and just listening to the music or enjoying the experience. Especially front row, like people who are front row, like they paid a lot for those seats, like thousands of dollars. And for what? To have your phone seeing her, like just looking at your phone the entire time. Like, is that really what you're paying thousands of dollars to do? You can watch a video of her anytime online. Like, we have to learn to soak in the experience.
Be within the moment.
Be with.
Like Mike, that's what Michael Jordan said too. It was like Zen Buddhism or something. That's what his coach taught him. He's like, you rather soak up the moment rather than think about the future, because the future can change at any moment at any time.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing that we have today is guaranteed for tomorrow. Anything like is able to be, things are being able to be burned down quickly. It's like those memories that you have with people are the only things that really stay with you. And I feel like a lot of people are missing out the facts of memories. I think they want to take those Snapchat memories and put it in their Snapchat memories. There's nothing greater than that, I think. And
And every day you should be able to like write down something like 3 things you're grateful for, 3 people you impacted. If you didn't do anything in your day, like was it worth living? Like what's the point of living if you're not gonna do something? You're here on the earth for a reason. Do something, you know?
see, this is exactly why once the summer starts, I want to take my phone, put it in some random location in my house, forget about it for the next 2 months, come back to school with my phone, have no idea what happened. That's all I want to do. Because I feel like a lot of drama in life just stems from this.
Yes.
It stems from this. I hate it. It's not. It's the exact opposite of productivity, or ah,
Yes.
I can't
Activity.
say it. Yeah, but a lot of things without this phone, life would have been so much more easier if you think about it.
It
A
would have been
lot.
easier and harder. Like you can't talk to people across the world or your family.
Yeah,
But it's
but
also
yeah,
yeah.
like if I feel like being exposed to technology at a young age is probably what caused all of this to happen, because if because we were given Chromebooks in fifth grade or third grade for you guys, I came
Yeah.
in fifth grade, but being given this in fifth grade, I feel like I'm more dependent on the Chromebook than I am on my own brain. So I feel like Google is the reason for not reason for everything. It's more of Google is my brain rather than my brain being my brain, obviously.
Mhm. Yeah, I get what you mean. It's
It's
hard.
very annoying. Just
Yeah. And
any
we're human, so we
yeah,
get addicted to like the phone easily. If we're watching one episode, like Netflix has this thing where it just skips you to the next episode. Like it gives you like 3 seconds, and it's like I have 3 seconds to consider. Do I want to waste another 45 minutes? And by the time you consider it, it's already starting the next episode. So you're like, screw it, I'll watch it.
brilliant
And
marketing.
it's brilliant marketing, but it's not good for us. So like whenever I feel like I'm getting sick, like I get sick of my phone or technology, I get sick. I feel like I'm in my room, I'm on my phone, I'm in my bed, like makes me feel like my brain feel weary. So I just go outside. I go biking for 2 hours, 3 hours, and my mom thinks she thinks I'm crazy for that, but it's fun to bike. You just see people talking, and I've never seen as many people outside as I have now, which is ironic because it's quarantine, but I've never seen, I see families walking outside and kids biking, and I've never seen stuff like that before.
I feel like now is the time for us to escape from our phones and actually envision reality. Not envision, just soak in reality. Like,
yeah,
what is nature at this point to some people?
What
They don't even know.
nature?
Some people don't even know what grass smells like or how cut grass smells like. Best feeling on earth.
That's good.
I love it. But some people just stay at home. Like a lot of high schoolers, middle schoolers, elementary students sit at home and just look into their screens. Just it's really weird because being obviously from an immigrant family, like my parents have always told me that they know how it feels to struggle outside, and they know how it feels when they don't have something to wear, and they have sacrificed a lot truly for us. So I feel like the best way to honor that, because obviously I'm not earning anything, like that's obviously a thing, but like the best way to honor it is to not be on my phone and like kill myself over it. It's more like go outside, learn something new, put something out there, and just become a new version of you and just reinvent yourself constantly.
Did you learn anything new during quarantine?
Yeah, a lot.
What
I've
did you
learned
learn?
like so I had like this piece of paper, and it says it's it goes by these three lines which I always live by now. It says if you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. And if you're at peace, you're in the present. And I feel like being at peace is probably one of the most important things for me now. I don't want to worry about the future. I don't want to reminisce about the past unless it's something utterly funny. But yeah, that's
I learned how to knit with grandma now. I made
yeah.
scarves,
Knitting.
socks.
You know what else I learned? I learned how to make musical production. So
That's so
sick.
cool.
So sick. But
Are
like
you
I just
making
can't rap.
songs?
I can't rap.
You don't have to rap. It can just be music, or you can get a friend to sing.
Nah, man. I'm gonna be like the weekend. Watch. I'm gonna bring out those.
Then sing.
I'm gonna be
There's
like the.
auto-tune today. It's okay. You can do whatever you want.
I'm not using auto tune. Just like a little bit of pitch correction. We're okay. Yeah, but I think we hit like the 40-minute mark or something.
Oh.
Like.
Okay.
That's quite a lot. So, any concluding remarks?
Okay. So find what you want. Go get it. Now is the time because you have time because you're in quarantine. So.
Time is of the essence.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. It's your boy Tejas, joined by Priya once again. Thank you for watching the Tejas Tapes. I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace out.